As, of course, all elections, whenever this happens, it feels like, hey, if it worked for the Republicans, maybe we need to take it on ourselves. And it looks like that is what's happened again, as politics always flip-flops, as campaign strategies always flip-flop, as promises are always broken, and things like this seem to happen in politics all the time. And of course, we are still talking somehow about Congresswoman McIver. Yes, the one who broke into the ICE facility, got arrested, got detained, wouldn't take a plea deal, and now, as expected, they're fundraising off of it. That's right, and emails came in this morning, specifically from a name most of us had never heard until the last week, Congresswoman McIver. And now it's essentially saying that this is going to be lawfare. At the same time, you have Andrew Cuomo also saying, hey, this is political, what do they call it? Political interference or election interference for them investigating some of how New York treated COVID. Those are the real talking points now coming from the left. It's very clear where they're going from. What they saw was that the conservatives were able to rile up a base, and that every time President Trump was charged with a crime, every time that there was some sort of new in-court appearance, it did nothing except to get people more motivated to vote for President Trump because they could see right through the politics of it. Now they're claiming it's the same, but now for them. Because when it happens to them, it has to now be lawfare. It has to be some sort of election interference. It can't be the fact that there are actual issues that came upon here. Not theoretical ones. Not ones that could be, maybe interpreted or misinterpreted. You're talking about someone who broke into an ICE facility, got into a physical fight, had to be removed, and now claiming the Trump administration is going after me.
That's right. So what you're seeing here is a very cynical ploy by the left in D.C. to try to replicate what happened to President Trump, but by conjuring this up in a way. So you have a congresswoman that went for a political stunt, got charged with assault, but now, instead of taking the plea deal, saying, this can be good, this is almost the test case for the Democrats as they look forward to the next election cycle. If they can raise a lot of money off this, if they can make Representative LaMonica McIver a household name, someone most of the country, probably even a lot of people in her district had never even heard of, then you bet they are going to replicate this strategy around the country. And instead of it being prosecutors, real lawfare, trying to figure out and come up with and hunt around for charges they could charge President Trump with to keep him out of office, these are now Democrats trying to find ways they can get charged so that they can stay in office.
Now the question is, what do the Republicans do? How do they respond? Do they respond in a way that is similar to how the Democrats did? But the difference is that these are what I'd say a lot more substantiated claims. I'm not saying they're necessarily stronger claims in terms of what the sentencing could be, but it's pretty clear she broke into an ICE facility. We've seen the videos. We know it happened. She's not even claiming that she didn't do that. They're claiming they had the right to do it. But of course, we know that there are proper ways for them to do it. And I think they should have that opportunity to be responsible. But she also now, as expected, as I told you would happen, has started making the media rounds. So maybe some more friendly media. So Jen Psaki, yep, I'm sure you love to hear that name again, from MSNBC, former Biden press secretary, had her on the show just yesterday. Let us take a listen to this bit. First, you're going to hear Jen Psaki, followed by Representative McIver.
At the time, you described it, and so did your colleagues who are with you, as being assaulted by multiple ICE agents. Is that part of the argument that you want to make now and that you plan to make in court as you proceed here?
So I definitely plan on making that argument in court. I can't wait to have my day in court, where we can have due process, which this administration has stripped many of being able to have due process. But I'm looking forward to that, to telling the truth about what happened on that day.
She looks forward to telling the truth about what happened that day, due process. I can't wait to have my day in court. Why? Because, well, again, this is razzle dazzle. This is a showman at work. And you know what? That is part of today's political landscape. Unfortunately, that is just the truth. It's what happens. Is you see something that works, you're going to replicate it. You're going to start using it in fundraising. You're going to start sending out emails from someone that a week ago we didn't even know the name of. I currently couldn't even tell you the district that she's in. This is someone who is brand new to the political scene, if you will. Clearly not brand new in terms of she's been elected, but in terms of the national scene, and they're seeing a moment. And look, again, everything's marketing. Everything's publicity. I understand that greatly. It's part of what we do here at the ACLJ. It's part of what we do here on Secular. You got to promote. You got to get out there. You got to talk. You got to do it. The difference is you don't just steal from the other side, change the playbook, but this is what happens historically in Washington. That's
right. This is the playbook that they mocked. They mocked President Trump for saying that they were politically motivated prosecutions, even though you had anyone, even all the way to like Bill Maher, saying like it's very obvious what they're doing here. These are politically motivated prosecutions. And when you think about the types of prosecutions that were happening against President Trump, you think about the documents case when obviously Joe Biden was looked at and then got the Hur report, which now we find out was a very accurate description of his state. But however, it was justice for no accountability for President Biden, but they still went forward against President Trump. You think about how they tried to use the 14th Amendment against him, saying he was a part of an insurrection, even though he had never been charged with that. And didn't have an opportunity to have due process in that. She talks about due process in that bite, and yet they were going around the country trying to take him off the ballot. That is lawfare. That is finding an angle and then exploiting it for political gain, using the law in that context. What they're doing here is they're co-opting the same playbook that they once mocked President Trump for doing. But in reality, prosecutors aren't going around coming up with falsified business records count. We'll think you overvalued your property, so therefore we're going to try to take $500 million from you. What they're doing is, we got to go cause a ruckus, not take a plea deal so we can be charged, and then we can say, this is lawfare. Look what they're doing to us. Instead of it being the prosecutors trying to come up with a charge, it's almost like the politicians themselves are like, where can I go find a way to get charged so that I can exploit this and send out fundraising emails? They send out a fundraising text. This isn't just from her office. This is from the DCCC. That's the Democrat Congressional Campaign Committee. That's the major fundraising arm for Democrat House candidates. So it's not just her, it's all Democrats trying to raise money for congressional campaigns off of this story. So why wouldn't they take a plea deal? Well, I mean, there could be many motives for not wanting to take it, and one could be innocent of saying, I don't want to have anything saying that I did something wrong.
A crime, right? Yeah.
But the other angle to it is definitely, if she said, sure, it's a plea of disorderly conduct or something over, you can't raise money off of it.
We can move on real quickly. That's kind of how it works. So to me, it's very clear. And look, again, I'm not saying there's not necessarily anything wrong with it. I'm just saying it's, be transparent about it. Look at it from the big picture. And the big picture is they see this as a marketing and PR moment.
I have no problem with them raising money off of anything they want to raise money off of. That's their prerogative. President Trump was selling mugs with his mugshot on it. So he fundraised off of it. That's clearly why they're co-opting it. The difference is that President Trump didn't go out and seek these situations where he could be charged. What I'm afraid of happening is this being a very big fundraiser for them. And then you start seeing bad behavior by other members of the House that want to get in on that action. And so they go and cause trouble here. They disrupt here. They try to get arrested just for the sake of fundraising. It's a bad example to the nation. It's a bad example to the constituencies that if you reward bad behavior by going, instead of, there's 1,000 different ways they could have played that scenario out. And they didn't. They chose to do the photo op, to make a big issue out of it. A congressional oversight visit should almost be something you don't even know about happening. That it just happens, then they can give a report and do that. But instead, it become a whole thing. and it ends up with charges against a member of Congress. The mayor of Newark was arrested and charged originally with criminal trespass on federal property, but they dropped those charges. So it should have never gone down that way to begin with. And now what we're seeing is the game plan. Go cause trouble, get in trouble, raise money, try to flip the election.
Get in the press, get coverage, get on the news, become a household name. It's very easy. It's very, it's just where we're at right now. So just see through it, folks. Just actually look at what's going on. We are so excited to announce the ACLJ's brand new app, completely redesigned to provide you with the best tools available to partner with us at the ACLJ. You can watch the daily Secular program, sign the petitions, customize your ACLJ membership experience, donate with the click of a button, and receive up-to-the-minute critical updates that the mainstream media can't censor. Just scan the QR code on your screen or go to your phone's app store, search ACLJ, and click install. It's that simple.